Good afternoon. Tell us your name and the type of profession you pursued in your life.
Okay, my name is Susan Hunt, and the profession that I went to university for and thought I was going to pursue was elementary education. And I graduated from Ohio State University with a degree it that allowed me to teach. Um, However, I had already started my family, so that was sort of what I did at the beginning. And then I went and worked for a private preschool. I was the director of a preschool for 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds. And we had the 3-year-olds on Tuesday and Thursday, the 4-year-olds on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And myself and another lady ran the program. And it was set up in a church and it was a co-op. So we always had two of the mothers or a mother and a father, mostly mothers, in the room during the day. So we had backup and things of that sort. Um, Also, when this was going on, we were on a list to adopt our son.
Mm.
Now, this was in the 70s. Once our name got on the list, I was told I had to quit the job. Go figure. I had to sit and wait for a baby for another, I think, 10 months, but I was not allowed to work during that time. So, again, sign of the times, very, very strange. Um, so then we got Tyler, small baby, had to have him at home. And my husband said, I need your help at the office. And so we started out, and I would go in and work a little bit in the morning. I worked on the computer, learned how to put information in. That was way back when things were just beginning as far as putting information on a computer. And then we moved the computer home, so I didn't have to go into the office and they could bring me the information. I could put it in and then send it back the next day. And then that got too cumbersome, so I had to go into the office and work. At this time, then we started another business. And so I went back to school and took a couple of uh, accounting courses so that I'd have a little bit of background because I was now waiting on truck drivers, putting in orders for different things, and I would have to put the accounts payable in and accounts receivable in. And so, yeah, that's one thing led to another as far as my job and my career and everything went along.
So now your schooling was in early childhood education then?
Um, well, back then it was all combined. I
Just
mean,
education.
my degree was kindergarten through, I think, sixth grade that I could come out when I graduated, I could come out and teach in those areas. But since it was a private preschool, I didn't I didn't have early childhood then, but I did okay.
Did you still think that that education was valuable to you? Like, was it a waste of your time that you didn't end up
Oh,
pursuing
no, no,
your
no.
degree?
No, it wasn't a waste of my time. And the other thing is, as you know, but um, we got in very much involved with exchange students. And I always said my education degree helped me
Mm.
when I was working with the exchange students.
How's
And
that?
well, because they would come and they couldn't speak English. So we'd have to work to them extra on working on their language skills and working on different things. And I just think there was a lot of education that was going on in the home that wasn't necessarily classroom education, but I was using what I had learned working with the students.
So later in your profession, when you were working with the private companies and doing all kinds of finance related things. I know you had some schooling, as you said, but did your life experiences prior to that play into your ability to do those roles well?
No.
You had to totally retrain.
Yeah, I mean, I hadn't done any of that. And it just, one thing morphed into another due to circumstances occurring in the business. The, because I had moved, um, to the computer working on putting information in and so that it just, it morphed.
I think that's great for people to realize that even though they've committed to a degree in one area and maybe even started a profession in one area and they pivot at some point to something totally different, that often ends up okay.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I enjoyed it. I think the thing that probably I wasn't expecting was working with men all the time because that was the group that was coming in. We're all builders, contractors. So my interactions were mostly with men. I sit at this point in my life and look at all of my teacher friends who go
Yeah,
out to lunch with all their teacher
opposite.
friends. And I miss that whole piece of the pie. So I think it's an interesting aspect that when you have a job, you are your friends, yes, their work, but they also become part of your family, are the people that you work with. So you look around the office or wherever you end up and you think, these are where my friends are going to come from. Um, they
So,
were
what is your recommendation for someone who ends up somewhere, maybe using a degree that they don't really enjoy, or in an environment with coworkers they don't think really fulfills what they desire in their life? What do you recommend for that?
I have no idea
Do they
because
just stay there and push
well,
on, or do you
I
encourage them
wasn't
to
I
just
wasn't unhappy. It
right?
wasn't that I was unhappy. It just wasn't, I don't know that I could ever say I expected what I got in the end. It's just, it was the way things turned out. But we were one big happy family and I was working with my family. So, um, yeah, it changed, it morphed.
Now, working in a family business has some real pros and cons. What would you say is a you already said that you got to spend time with your family. Is that the biggest pro?
Yeah. And as it turned out, those of us that were there working didn't have a problem with each other. The the family problems had preceded us in another generation. So
There's always that.
yeah, there's always. But no,
So, what is the biggest con though to working in a family business? Can you ever get away from business? Are you talking about it at 11 at night, or can you separate? Is it possible to separate and live a life
well,
outside?
I think you have to make a concerted effort. You have to agree in your mind that okay, if you're going on vacation, you're on vacation. Leave it and don't take a lot of it with you. And that would have to be a part of the discussion sometimes where we'd say, okay, we're on vacation. Yeah,
Right.
leave that behind.
So, how would you describe the profession you ended up in? Were you an administrator then, or more of an accounting side? How would you define that for someone who ends up
It,
doing what you're doing?
I think if you go and businesses change now. Now you're in corporate and I wasn't in corporate. I was in a small business. Again, what as I said, we were all family. We communicated, we got along. Um, it it worked out very well, but I don't know in the work market now, if you're in corporate's a whole different experience than a small family-owned business where you all know one another, you work, and I felt we had a good relationship with everyone. We were just a big family, not just immediate family, but we were just a family. And
Right. I would say it's a very different culture where you
yes,
feel actually connected and maybe serving a purpose, actually having real input into the success of your company.
right.
If someone wants to talk to you further about what you've accomplished in your life, would you be open to that?
Sure. Yeah.
All
Yep.
right. Well, Sue, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.